All right. Good evening. Just let me know if you can hear me. Yes, no. Please use your chat box if you can hear me. Just checking everything is working fine on YouTube and also on Zoom. Good evening. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me on YouTube and also on Zoom. This will help me to recheck if something is wrong technically. Hopefully everything works fine. You may use your chat box to let me know if everything is working fine. Am I audible, by the way? Yes, no? Ankita, Rafael, Dr. Aditi, am I audible? And some of you watching on YouTube, just let us know if you are able to hear me. Yes, all right. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining in. If you're watching for the first time, then hello, my name is Manoj. I have been doing these webinars for free for the last 4.5 years, and you might be watching you might have watched many of my webinars on YouTube, and you might be a part of the Zoom as well. So I welcome you all to these learning sessions that happen every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. And the objective of these sessions is to create a lot of awareness about medical writing, pharmaceutical careers, and much more. All right, so just in case you have not watched the first part of this series on how to learn medical writing for free, please do check that out on YouTube. The recording is available of the past session. And in that session, we had discussed a lot about how to learn medical writing for free. All right, so let's get started with today's session. And again, in today's session, we'll be learning something different from what we discussed last time. And what is it that we'll be learning today? So this is a quick contents of what we'll be covering today. We'll understand what did we cover so far in the previous session. This will help you to recap and go back to the past session and learn from there. We'll understand about four free courses in this session, in today's session. I'll also give you some tips on which course to take and how to fast track your learning. Because I see a lot of medical writers facing challenges when it comes to learning. They take courses, but then somehow they're not able to complete those courses. So these tips will help you to decide on which course to take and how to fast track your learning in terms of medical writing. We'll have a Q&A. So if you like the session, please stay tuned till the end of the session. You may ask any type of questions and I'll try to answer them. If you're watching it on YouTube, then we'll be live till about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And after that, if you want to stay back on Zoom, you can still continue the conversation. We'll go off live from YouTube, and then we'll continue the session on Zoom for quite some time and try to answer closely for all of you who are part of Zoom. Is that okay? Give me a thumbs up if that is okay. So let's get started with today's session, if that is okay. All right, so you may use the chat box. Yeah, you may not get an option to unmute by default. So please use chat box whenever you are comfortable. If you have a question, you can put in the chat box and I'll go and read the question when we come to the Q&A part. All right. So this is what we'll be covering in the next 45 minutes. I hope you have a notepad and a pen and you would like to make some notes during the session itself. So make some notes. This will help you to fast track your learning better. All right. So let's understand what did we cover so far. And this is for some of you who have not watched the part one. This is just like a summary of part one that I had covered some time back. The recording is available on YouTube and you can find it by searching on YouTube, how to learn medical writing for free. This is the title of the session. You'll find the recording there on YouTube. All right. So in the last session, we understood about the drug discovery process and why medical writing is needed. Okay, this is what we discussed in the first part. We understood about a brief overview of medical writing. For some of you who have no idea what medical writing is, I suggest you please go back to that session recording after today's session, watch it, and you'll learn about what we discussed there. All right. We also understood about different types of medical writing. Now, this list is ever growing. I keep adding in this list. So last time we had missed out some of the medical writing types. So it will be updated in the next version. So every time I find something new, I try to update in the list. And this list I try to share through this YouTube and all these live sessions that I do on a weekly basis. We also understood who can be a medical writer. This was again in the last session. And based on the learnings, based on the your qualifications, based on your area of interest, you can choose one type of medical writing. This is also we discussed in the last session. We also understood the multidisciplinary nature of medical writing. Now, medical writers don't work in isolation. They work with multiple types of fields, they work with multiple types of departments, they work in a team, right? And whether you are a freelancer or a consultant or you're working with the agency setup or a company setup, we work as a team, right? So we discussed all of this in the past session, right? We also understood what are the challenges the current industry is facing and why we need trained medical writers. So this one part of that last session will help you to understand why training in medical writing is so important and how we can actually learn medical writing and why it is so important and why I'm sharing all these learnings to all of you. If you watch that part session, you'll also understand. We also discussed how to do a skill gap analysis, and this is one of the most important part that I'll also be covering briefly today. How to do a skill gap analysis, how to identify the skills that the industry needs, and how to prepare for it. Okay, so it is important because unless we understand where we are lacking, we won't know how to upgrade there. All right. We'll also understood in the past session how to build portfolio, and I've given a brief idea about how to make portfolio, what are the different tips and all of that, and hopefully you'll like that. Then I had shared some free resources in the past session, and some of the free resources, if you want to again recap those, the best one is, according to me, with when it comes to scientific writing, we have SWAM portal. This is by Government of India, and it has good knowledge, good information about what scientific writing is and how to learn and all of that. It's a free course, you can enroll. It's a self-paced course. That means you can learn and complete at your own pace, and then you'll get a certificate after the completion. It's 100% free course. We also understood how to access the courses on Coursera and how to learn from there. And then we also understand Udemy courses. There are some courses in Udemy. And we also understood little bit about clinical trials and how to keep updated about clinical trials and also clinical research. All right. So this is what we understood and discussed. All of this is a kind of summary from the last part one. And just in case you have not watched it, I would request you to go and watch it. All right. So if you have not watched, type NM in the chat box. Just let me know how many of you have not watched it. Just checking if you have actually watched it or not. NM means not me. So, all right, you have not watched, type NM in the chat box. The previous session. Have you watched the previous session? NM, so Ankita says NM. What about others? Right. Only Ankita, rest of you have watched it. All right. So if you have watched it, perfect. If you have not watched it, go for it. And if you know somebody who will be benefited, you can share the link with them as well. All right. So let's now understand, from this session, I'll be talking about 4 important free courses that the industry has to offer us. And these are just a brief, pointers about those courses. You'll find a lot more detail within the course itself. If you get some time, please go and register for free. And these are offered by various international universities. That means you'll be able to understand a very detailed version of the international expectations on medical writing. All right, so make notes from here if you have not started. This will help you to make a note of the course and what you can expect from those courses. All right, so first course is, this is one of the most widely, enrolled course. More than, I think 5 lakh plus students have registered for this. This is available on Coursera. And this is, for anyone who wants to start a journey in medical writing. Okay, so this is the name of the course is Writing in the Sciences. It is offered by Stanford University, and the course instructor is Dr. Christine. And she explains, in next 30 hours, if once you enroll as a beginner, in the next 30 hours, you'll be learning a lot about what scientific writing is all about. And just to recap what it covers, it talks about all the scientific writing principles. So there are a lot of principles we follow in writing science for sciences or scientific writing. It talks all about that. It talks about the grammar, how important grammar is and how to ensure that your sentences are grammatically correct. It talks about that. It also explains you how the peer review process happens and what are the tips for it and how to do it, right? And peer review is a very important aspect in medical writing. You will be reviewing content from other writers. Your content will be reviewed by others. So if you understand the process and if you understand how to do it, then it is definitely a good add-on for you, right? And then it also talks about how to write for general audience. Now, in case of scientific writing, medical writing, or any type of writing that we are talking about, there are in general five audience that we write for, right? And what are those five audiences? So remember these five audiences. The number one is the healthcare professionals. Number two is the regulatory bodies. Number three is the patients. Number four is the pharmacy professionals. And number five is the nurses, right? So regulatory bodies are important. And apart from that, all these HCPs and patients, they are very important in any kind of scientific and medical writing, right? So you'll understand how to write for general audience. General audience is all the masses, all the normal people who don't understand too much of science and complex medical information. So we have to simplify the information for them in a very simplistic manner, right? So how to write for general audiences? This course actually defines in a very, very nice way. So please refer to this course and you'll get an idea of how to write for general audience. And it also talks about the importance of communication skills. Very, very important in any kind of medical writing or scientific writing. Communications skills are one of the most sought skills in any kind of writing, right? Specifically scientific writing. So this course covers about communication skills as well. So what did this course cover? It talks about the scientific writing principles. It explains about grammar usage and how to rectify grammar. It also explains about the peer review process, how to do peer review for others, and how others can do a peer review process for you. It also explains about how to write for general audience, right? And the masses, the common people, the patients, and the caretakers, all of that. Then it explains about the communication skills. Very, very important in any type of writing, the core communication skills, right? So this is the first course for you, Writing in Sciences from Stanford University. The next course is from the University of Yale, Yale, Yale or Yale, I don't know. It is Yale, hopefully, okay? And what do you learn from here? It is for beginner levels. It's about 16 hours course, and you can learn at your own pace again. And a lot of things here. One of the most important thing is how to, understand medical research, right? This is one of the most important thing. And once you understand medical research, then you'll also understand how to do a good research and how to spot the fake information or misinformation online, right? So this course is all about spotting fake information, but spotting fake information is not just one criteria. It also helps you to understand the medical research, how medical research happens, how to appraise medical research. It also explains how to distinguish between good and bad research. Very, very important, right? Many of the time we feel we get information about research, but then we don't know how to identify good or bad research. So this is one course that will help you to identify good and bad research. Specifically, if you are doing your master's in any department, in any stream, then this is a course must, to be accessed course, right? It will help you to understand good and bad research. And obviously, when you understand, I'm sure you'll do a good research, right? And you'll justify your research. It will also help you to interpret the medical studies, all these clinical trials and medical research, right? It will help you to interpret those study results. It will also help you to understand and determine the trustworthiness of scientific information. You get, we have WhatsApp University, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have 135 plus different social media platforms. So how to, understand, whether the information published there is right or wrong, right? Whether they talking about scientific information in all these platforms, whether to track those information and quality of that information is good or bad, right? It will help you to determine the trustworthiness of scientific information as well. It also talks about the study design, the research methods, the statistical interpretations, the frauds, the biases, and all the common misinterpretation of data that happens in the scientific research, right? So this is one course must recommended for everybody who is doing masters or who is into research, also for faculties, also for somebody who is getting started in medical writing, because all of this is very important part in any kind of scientific writing or medical writing. And once we understand how the study designs happen, how the research methods are taken care of, how the statistical interpretations happen, how the fraud and biases happen in medical research, and also how the misinterpretations of data happens. Now, when we don't know statistics, when we don't know interpretation, how to interpret, then very high chance that there may be some misinterpretation happening, right? So this is one course that will help you to understand all of this. And very, very most importantly, it will help you to understand how to fact check and know misinformation, right? So as medical writers, as scientific writers, we often do fact checking of content. And this is one course that will help you to exactly understand how to do a fact checking and also know misinformation. And this is very important, not just because you want to become a medical writer, but also just because you want to track down the misinformation that is widely circulated these days through all these different platforms, right? So tracking and understanding misinformation is also equally important uh, uh, as compared to the actual scientific research itself, right? So will be a very good course for all of you. And after doing this course, I'm sure you'll not just hit this forward button just like that. Most of us, I have also done in the past, whenever I used to get a message on WhatsApp or Facebook, I used to simply forward it without actually checking what the message much contains, right? And this is again, it's not a good thing, right? Once you have gone through the course, then definitely you'll not hit the forward button just like that. In almost 90% of the cases, you'll feel like deleting the message than circulating the message. Okay, so this will help you fight misinformation, understand research better, understand statistics, understand how research happens, understand how fraud and bias happens in the scientific community. All right, and the next course that we'll talk about is the course from the University of Michigan. Okay, this talks about the writing and editing and how to organize the information. Again, all these courses that I'm talking about are free. So if you enroll, in the given time frame, it comes with free option. And then if you want the certificate, then I think they charge a little bit amount for issuing the certificate. If you don't want to have the certificate, just want to learn, go and learn. Okay. So many of us, don't want certificates. We just want to learn. So if you want to learn, go for it and learn from there. All right. Now, what is this course all about? This course talks about how to structure sentences and paragraph, how to improve clarity and flow of the information in any type of writing. Okay. And specifically, you can apply all these principles in medical writing, right? So once we know how to structure sentences, how to put the paragraphs correctly, how to use the right flow of information, how to put the information with clarity. I think this will a game changer in your entire writing process. Okay, this course also talks about time management skills. Very, very important skill in medical writing, any kind of writing. Time management skill is very important, and this talks about how to manage your time by properly structuring the sentences and paragraph. Now, one of the most important skill that this course talks about is persuasion skill. Now, when you would need a persuasion skill, specifically when you're talking to clients, when you are projecting yourself as a freelancer and reaching out to many clients, getting a lot of work online and offline, then you need this skill called persuasion skill, right? And most of us won't have this skill, right? I personally had never had this skill in the past. And, over a period of time, I gained the skill. when I completed my master's and all of that, I never had the skill. So persuasion skill is very, very important, and it really helps us to interact better with our clients and manage the projects effectively, right? And with time management skills, you'll be more focused and on your writing process, all right, on your writing journey. So this is one more course I would recommend you, and this is approximately a beginner level course. It is about 15 hours duration course. And again, it is a self-paced course. So once you register, you'll be able to access this course for free. All right. Now, another very important course is this course from, again, University of Pittsburgh. And this talks about all the clinical terminologies for interpretation and for both international and the US students, right? So focus on, if you are not in the US, you are from other countries, you can focus on the international part. But essentially, this gives you a lot of idea about various topics and understand fundamentals of clinical terminology. Now, without understanding clinical terminologies, we cannot become a good writer, right? So this will help you to understand those terminologies and how to interpret those terminologies. It also helps you to understand the use of common medical terms, abbreviations, acronyms in the clinical settings, right? And many a times what happens, we don't use those terms correctly in our writing. So definitely this is a good course that we should be taking, right? And then it also helps us to decode the complex medical information into simplified information. And as I told you that we write for six different target audience, when you know that how to simplify the complex medical terms to simple terms, this definitely is going to help you, right? So these are 4 courses that I wanted to share with you today. And apart from these courses, there are many, many more courses that I have shared in the past. You'll also find some of the courses in the LinkedIn group that I have created. There is a WhatsApp group that I have created. If you don't have access to those groups, you can check out my past sessions and also connect with me on LinkedIn, and then I'll share the details with you. All right. Now, many of the times I get this message, which course to take? Now, there are so many courses available. There is so much of information available. Which is the one that I should take? Now, I also get resumes of many medical writers, and then I see they have done so many courses. That's good. Doing a lot of courses is definitely good because we get so much of knowledge and information. But then understanding how to decide which course to take is absolutely important, specifically for our, in these times, because all of us are struggling with time. All of us are struggling with money and all of that. So, right. So it is important for us to decide which course to take, in which time frame to take, and how this will help us in moving ahead in our career paths, right? So one of the most important thing is always to understand our learning objectives. Okay. Make a list of what you want to learn, set a goal for yourself. So let's say you just want to get into the medical writing domain, then you don't have to take a course on regulatory affairs, clinical, and then pharmacovigilance and everything, right? So there are a lot of courses which are available as a 6-month certification course or 3-month certification course. They offer you everything in that duration of time. Of course, learning everything is fine, but when the course mentions that you have learned all of this in that short duration of time, then it also says that you are not an expert in any of that, right? And then understanding the different types of writing is more important than understanding everything else, right? So it is important for us to set up a learning objective, make a list of whatever you want, and have a goal for yourself that next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I want to learn XYZ things. And based on that, you should be choosing your course, right? If you don't have that, thought process in mind, then it will be difficult for, to just have a certificate, learn everything, and you won't be expert in any of that, right? Next one is, you need to focus on the foundational knowledge. Always focus on the basic information, the basic knowledge first, because majority of the interviews that I have seen, they'll not ask you the complex information. All they are looking for is the attitude. What kind of attitude you have? Whether you have that priority self-knowledge or not, that is what they want to check, right? So whenever you are looking for any course, focus on the foundation knowledge. What kind of knowledge that course is giving, right? And then prioritize for self-education, right? have a solid foundation in medical writing, understand all the different types of writing, and then this will help you to decide the course better. Now, one of the ways that you could start your journey is go to YouTube channel and search for this hashtag manojinpharm, right? When you go there and search, you'll get 45 plus hours of free content on medical writing. And all of this is it's not happened in one day. It has taken me more than 4 years of time to connect with experts in medical writing, have interviews with them, and compile those resources for you. So go and learn from them. Go and learn from the experts. Interact with those experts on LinkedIn and different other platforms, and then see how you can learn faster, right? So it is important for you to first educate yourself on different types of writing, and then improve your foundation skills. All right. Now, many of the time when you decide for any course, the course content is key, right? Uh, the content of the course, what actually it contains, right? Review it and then understand whether it aligns with the learning goals or not. Now, if you just want to understand how to write sentences correctly or how to communicate better, then better to go for a grammar class or a communication skill class than learning through any medical writing class, because in medical writing they won't teach you all of this, right? So some of the courses I have told you in the previous slides, that they talk about medical writing and also communication skills. So take those courses rather than taking everything as a bundle, right? So understanding the course content is also important, and this will help you to understand and decide better. Now, understanding who's the person who's teaching about it, what is the kind of experience that person has in the domain of medical writing, what type of medical writing he has done is also important. Now, for example, if you take my case, I have mostly 16 years of experience only in medical marketing and medical communications. That is my core expertise. I can write medical communications related content, medical marketing related content, but not any other type of writing. For example, regulatory writing. That is not my expertise. So if I claim that I want to teach you regulatory writing, I'd be not doing justice to that. Maybe I can download some slides from internet and maybe show it to you, but definitely it is not going to help you, right? So expertise in that specific domain is very, very important. Now, whatever course you choose, you should be able to decide at the end of the course that this is the one type of writing I want to do, right? So let's say there is scientific writing, there is publication writing, there is clinical writing, there is pharmacovigilance writing, there is safety writing, there is medical marketing writing, so many types of writings. Now, when the interviewer asks or you are sending your resume to somebody and he asks, okay, fine, what is that one type of writing you want to do? Or what is that one type of writing your interest area is actually in? Then most of the time, the freshers don't answer this question. They're not able to answer because they're not very clear about what are the different types of writings that are practiced in the domain, right? So understanding this is absolutely important. And next one is, always consider the time that you're going to do to, that time that you're going to take to complete this course, and also the budget. Some of the courses are freely accessible, some of the courses are paid. So you have to decide based on the duration and the price, and also understand if your schedule matches that, right? So for example, I do daily classes on medical writing early morning, and also there is one evening batch that I do it. So early morning classes starts from 5:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the morning. That is 1 hour class every single day, except on Sundays and except on last Saturdays of the month, right? This is morning classes. And then evening, there is a class that happens between 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening, India time again. And this also can help you, right? So if you're interested in that time zone, then you can also. I always suggest to go for live courses than recorded courses, because during the live courses, you can always clarify your doubts and ask questions to the speaker or the expert speaker who is taking the class. So this is how you decide on which course to take. All right. Now, majority of the time we learn a lot of things, we don't implement them, right? So learning with implementation is absolutely important. If any course does not help you to implement something, then taking that course may or may not be helpful, right? Gaining experience with mentorship is very valuable and important, especially for beginners, right? So if you're somebody who's beginning, then choose a mentor, choose somebody who can help you to implement your learnings on the go. Now, there are many, many courses which are just pre-recorded. or just they give you a certificate at the end of the course, but there is no way you are able to implement your learnings. So that is definitely not going to help you, right? So having a course that can allow you to implement your learnings during the process itself is definitely important. Now, implement what? Implement writing, okay? Implement presentation, implement on your self growth, implement on how to network on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is very powerful today, and this can help you to connect with speakers and experts around the globe. It can help you to get opportunities from across the globe. So these are some of the skills that all of us should have. Now, if the course is not helping you do that, then why would you take the course, right? Now, in any kind of medical writing, any kind of course you take from whoever you take, time investment is absolutely important. I have seen many of us, even I'm also guilty of the same. I have taken so many courses, I have enrolled for so many courses, most of them pre-recorded courses. But then what happens? I have never logged into these portals, right? So I have all the username and password of the courses that I have taken, but unfortunately, I could not log in and access the courses. So if the time is a constraint, if you feel that no, you cannot devote X number of hours per week or per day, then it is a challenge if you take those courses, right? So your time is crucial. Uh, Plan according to your availability always, right? And always remember that medical writing is all about dedication, right? And there is no quick fix here. There is no one can claim that you can learn medical writing in 30 days, 40 days. It never happens. It takes a years of practice and implementation of those learnings, right? And then your time investment is equally important. So if you are learning every day for 1 hour, but you're not able to spend on yourself for the next 1.5 hours again in that next 24 hours, then probably that learning will not be useful to you, because implementation on the same day is very important, right? So these are some of the tips that can help you to decide on how you can decide on taking the course, how you can take on which course to take based on these important parameters or factors. This again based on my experiences, which I have gained through interaction with so many of you. Based on that, I think these are some of the points that can help you to decide on a specific type of course. Now, whatever course you take, irrespective of anyone, there are some tips for you that you should you can follow if you like these tips. These tips will help you to learn faster, or fast track your learnings. Whatever course you are taking, if you're taking free course or paid course, from anyone or any university, these are the universal tips that can help you to make most of your resources, whatever you're learning, right? So tip number one is always make your own notes, right? Whatever courses you are learning from, whatever videos you are watching, make a note of some of the important points that you learned from those videos. This will help you to fast track again, and also help you to recap whenever you are wanting to recap any of the points. Just you have to flip the pages of your notebook and you'll get the points, right? Rather than again going back to the video, rewatching it again and again and learning from that. So make notes, and these notes should not be paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs like stories, right? These notes should be only in points, and those points, only those points which you need in your career path for implementation. So if you're watching a 1 hour video, maybe you can have 3-4 pages of content with bullet points, with mind maps, with flowcharts, with tables, whatever you prefer, but make notes on only the points that you need to refer to at the end of the session, right? So always make notes. Making notes definitely helps you rewire your brain, and then also it helps you to remember the points, right? How many of you remember that during our school days or college days, we used to remember even the page numbers where we have written, right? Sometimes we used to remember, okay, this page number I had written these points. Do you remember? Yes, no? You can put in the chat box yes or no if you used to feel the same way. I used to feel it most of the time. That okay, I focus. I remember that on this notebook at this page I had written this point. So that this is the how our brain works, right? So it just rewires things, and it helps you to recap the information quickly. Okay, so this is a very, very powerful way of remembering things and also recapping based on your learnings. Always perform a skill gap analysis, right? So companies need so many skills. Like if you have those skills, you are a perfect fit for the companies. If you don't have have those skills, then the next option is to upgrade yourself or upskill yourself with a goal in mind, right? Just learning is of no use, right? Learning with a purpose is definitely helpful. So always understand what industry requires and upskill only for those skills. You don't have to upskill for everything under the sun. It is practically impossible for any one of us to learn everything under the sun, right? So we need to be expert in whatever we are doing, at least to some extent, right? We all cannot be a perfectionist or perfect person, but at least learn something from, so that we can do the job better than somebody else, right? So performing a skill gap analysis and setting a goal for those learnings will definitely helpful, right? So let's say, for example, let's say there is a company which requires somebody who understands the use of AI in medical writing, for example. Now, if I don't have that skill, I cannot apply, right? Very simple, because there is a specific requirement in the company. Now, let's say there is another company which is looking for somebody who knows how to manage references with the help of reference management software. Now, there are 20 plus reference management software. And let's say if the company has said, okay, I want only those people or those medical writers who know only Zotero or only Mendeley, right? Now, the company has given that specification. Now, if I don't know how to use these softwares, probably I will not be a good fit for that, right? I may know XYZ softwares, but if I'm not specifically knowing this software, which the company wants, that I'm not be able to go and implement those learnings. So always performing a skill gap analysis will help us to go to those learnings really faster. And again, everything has to be goal-based, right? Now, after this comes the consistency. Whatever we do in our life, we need to be consistent. If you're learning, be consistent. If you're practicing, be consistent. If you're networking, be consistent. If you're not consistent, things will not fall in place, right? For me, I have been doing these webinars for almost 4.5 years. And if you go and watch, most of the replays are available on YouTube, except for the ones which I have done for the companies or colleges. Those are not available here on YouTube, but rest everything is available. So consistency is definitely important. And during these many years of time, I have been able to connect with so many people, experts in the domain, right? And only because I have been doing this, I was able to do it. Now, if imagine if I would have done 1 month and then I have left for 2 months, and then again after that I start, that consistency will not happen. The same thing holds good for your writing. If you're consistently writing over a period of time, over 3 months, 4 months, 1 year, 2 year, 10 years, you'll become perfect. You'll become better and better and better every single day. So consistency plays a very important role, and consistency in one type of writing makes you expert. So if I practice all the types of writing, I'll never become expert in any one of them, right? So practicing one type of writing definitely helps a lot. So please be consistent in whatever you are learning, whatever you are doing, whatever writing you are practicing. This over a period of time will become better and better, and you'll be able to do much better than anyone else, right? So whatever tasks you have assigned to yourself, be consistent and always practice for yourself, right? Most importantly, whatever you want to learn, focus only on that, right? We get shiny objects all the day. When you are scrolling on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, we get so many new updates happening. Now we can get diverted to everything and anything, and if you're not focused. So focusing on what we actually want to do will help us do better, right? So let's say if I want to learn regulatory writing, just giving an example to all of you. Let's say if I want to learn medical writing or regulatory medical writing, then my focus has to be only on that. Now, tomorrow somebody will post, okay, here is the 5 courses for learning pharmacovigilance writing, or here is a list of 5 courses for learning clinical writing. I should not go and learn all of that, because right now my focus is only on learning regulatory affairs, right, or regulatory writing. So whatever your focus is, whatever your timeline you have set up for yourself, be focused and continue learning there, not go and connect it to all the shining objects, because the more feeds you check, the more scrolls you do, the more information you get. There is no end to this endless scrolling, right? Today, in today's world, in today multiple devices we use, there is no end to all those endless scrolling that we can do, right? Most important again is to have your own network, connect with the experts, not just from India but across the globe. This will help you to get a lot of learnings from them, and also a lot of resources from them. Many a times This network will also help you to get a lot of projects and work with you over a period of time. Now, if somebody wants to work with you, the only thing that person needs is to understand your expertise. Now, if a person knows I can set up a website for him, probably he'll give more content, more projects on setting up a website. Now, if a person knows that I can do PowerPoint presentations for him, then I'll get more projects on PowerPoint presentation. I have to tell my network that I can do XYZ things. If I don't tell them, who would they know? Nobody can dream about us, right? Unless we go and tell them, unless we go and talk to them, they won't know about us. So we have to go and shout and tell them that this is what I can do for you and this is how I can do for you, right? So I have to advertise about my products and services. All of us get so many advertisements every single day. Now, advertisements are effective way of doing marketing, but connecting and building network is absolutely important. Just advertising across the globe will not help you, but focus on the network and then advertise to them. That will definitely help you out. All of us should know how to use LinkedIn. If you don't know how to use LinkedIn, please watch this replay. This is the thumbnail for that video on YouTube. If you look for LinkedIn Masterclass by me, you'll find that 1 hour of plus of content that talks about how to use LinkedIn. And this will help you to use LinkedIn effectively. All right. So with this, all these tips, I hope this session was useful. If you have any questions, you may please ask. And now this is open for Q&A. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this session was useful. This was a short session I planned. I had only 4 courses for you for free today and hope it was useful. If you like it, let me know. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your specific questions. All right. Now the floor is all open for question. If you have any specific question, you can put in the chat box or you can also unmute and talk. Was this useful? Let me know. Going forward, I'll try to keep the sessions shorter because many of you requested to have the sessions for 45 minutes to 1 hour and don't go beyond this. Sometimes we go in flow and focus on more information sharing. Some of my sessions have extended for 2.5 hours, 3 hours also. Going forward, the focus will be to share limited amount of information so that you can focus on your learnings. All right. Let me know if this was useful, and if you find it useful, please comment. If you have any questions, you can ask me, and commenting or asking through the chat is absolutely easier, so you can use that. Which course would you be taking? I showed you 4 courses. Which one would you want to take it first? Again, decide on based on your skill gap analysis. All right. All right. So thank you so much for your time. If it was useful, let me know. You have my email ID and also the contact details. You can let me know. We'll meet again next week. If you have any specific questions, you can feel free to comment or share in the chat box. I'll take up some questions for you. Otherwise, we are good to go. We'll meet again next week. Same time, every Saturday these sessions happens and we try to learn something different. So all of you who are watching me on YouTube, if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box. If you don't have a question, then thank you so much for your time. Continue watching more of my YouTube videos to learn from the past sessions. And if you have any specific topic to be discussed, you can send an email to me and I'll take up those topics in the upcoming sessions. Thank you so much for being with me. We'll meet again in the next class. Thank you. Some of you said no audio. Please check. I think my audio is clear. You can rejoin the session and you'll be able to hear the audio if you're on Zoom. YouTube, the audio is clear. I know for sure. All right. Thank you so much. So I'm closing this live stream on YouTube. I'll stay on Zoom for some time for some of you who are on Zoom, and I'll try to take up questions from you on Zoom. All right. Thank you so much.